Sonoma County lies between Napa Valley on the east and the Pacific Coast on the west, and it's bordered on the north by Mendocino and Lake, and the south by Marin, Solano, and Contra Costa. The geography of Sonoma is distinguished by the ever-changing beauty of its thrusting and dominant mountain ranges. Every popular varietal is successful in this region due to climate differences. To grow fine wine grapes, the Sonoma farmer must have a quality soil. In Sonoma County, the soil varies from water-absorbent clay loams to water-retentive sandy loams. From the grower's viewpoint, for the soil to be good, it must nourish the vines and the roots as well as provide them with a healthy source of nutrients.
So right across the highway, you'll see that huge kind of tree line back there. So right behind the tree line, the Russian River runs right behind that. So grown right in front of that is some of our Pinot Noir grapes. So nice little microclimate, 10 degrees cooler. From harvest to the finished product, Hank took it home, had it with his wife Linda, and Linda actually said, "You know what, Hank? I hate to say this, but we will use our barrels up to 5 different vintages. And at that point, then a lot of bourbon, whiskey, and beer distilleries will purchase them just to use them as a holding vessel. Since by that 5th vintage, it's really not. Now you'll notice some more light coming. So this is actually
probably the latest ones.
Exactly. So phase 3 of the cave. So a lot more energy efficient lighting, higher ceilings as well. So it makes it easier for our cellar crew to see what they're doing.
For Kendall Jackson. Yeah.
Great. Hi, my name is Will Alexander, wine educator with Kendall Jackson. So we are in Sonoma County in the Russian River Valley. Something very interesting here is that Sonoma County has as many soil types as the entire country of France. Russian River Valley, where we are here, has as many soil types as the entire region of Burgundy. So very diverse geographically, geologically, and then there's all these very unique microclimates. Different volcanic eruptions in the Mykonos Range, different alluvial soils here. Napa Valley is the same way. All the runoff from the mountains have created different soil types. So here you can throw a rock and you can actually have a different soil type. So within a vineyard, we divide our vineyard here into blocks and each one could have a different soil type. So it's just beginning to flower. So because grapes are self-pollinating, they don't have to produce a beautiful flower because they don't have to attract, bees and butterflies. So that's as flowery as it gets. So each one of these little flowers is going to become a grape berry. A shade canopy on the grape, and if we do this, we get more of a grassy New Zealand style. If we do a vertical shoot position system and we expose Sauvignon Blanc more to sun, you get citrus like grapefruit. So we can actually create flavors in the vineyard. So we think maybe 75-80% of how we make wine is how we grow grapes in a vineyard and do flavor development. And then when we create a leafing zone and a fruiting zone, there's even a solar sensor so we can see how much sun or shade is at the grape. So let's say they're going to call for a heat spike of 100 degrees. We leave the shade canopy so that the grapes won't turn into raisins, because they will raisin, right? If they're going to call for rain, cold, damp weather, we pull all the leaves off because we want the grapes to dry in the sun and the wind. If we don't, we get mold and we could lose the whole vineyard. So you could lose a vineyard root system because the root system might have to dig 25 feet down in solid rock to find water. So we have to use a very vigorous root system to give it a chance to survive. So based on the site, we choose the trellising system and the root system. It's site specific, not varietal specific. So then here, see how this one has two sets of horizontal branches? If you look in here, this has two sets of horizontal branches, but the other one is on the other side. This is in the same horizontal plane. So we don't prefer this one because grapevine energy, all plant energy goes up. So this top section will ripen before the bottom section, and we have to pick multiple times. And because we farm thousands of acres, it doesn't really scale. So we use this system. It still has 4 cordons. So the Pinot Noir that's out here uses this system. But based on the trellising type, we have to hand harvest our vineyard here.
You are in, actually, the Russian River Valley when you are in Sonoma-Cutrer. And when you're at Sonoma-Cutrer Vineyards, you're in the Russian River Valley. And in the larger part, it is Sonoma Valley. You're in the West County. West Sonoma County is where it's situated. And then you're in the AVA Russian River Valley. Sonoma-Cutrer itself, under the Sonoma-Cutrer label, we make beautiful Chardonnays that are part of the Sonoma Coast appellation as well as the Russian River Valley appellation. Sonoma Coast appellation is 30 miles south of here, and we have a wonderful vineyard by the name of Les Pierres. Les Pierres loosely translates to of the stones and rocks. And that really harks back to, the soil type harks back to Burgundy, France, where Chardonnay or Chablis, so white Chablis or Burgundy, got its start, was Burgundy, France. And the soil is very rocky and pebbly, just like Les Pierres. And then what we have going back up from the Sonoma Coast area, we have certainly the Sonoma Coast, but we also have then Russian River Valley. Russian River Valley is an area that is known for its Chardonnay and Pinot Noir wine varietals. And it's known for that because of its wonderful cool climate. You get beautiful fog in the morning, and that's primarily from the coast. Gives you that beautiful fog in the morning, long afternoon sunshine, which is what we're having right now, this beautiful 70-degree weather. And then in the afternoon, it cools down and brings the fog back in. And Chardonnay and Pinot Noir love cool. They cannot take the heat. They are a grape varietals that are thinner in skin and also are smaller in cluster size to a Cabernet or Zinfandel. And so, with that said, we are actually going to be, I'm going to be taking you into the Cutrer Vineyard.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
So we are on, right now, 400 acres.
Okay.
270 of those acres are planted just in Chardonnay. So over to the right here, and straight ahead, is our the Cutrer Vineyard. This vineyard used to all have hops for growing beer years ago. And so Sonoma County itself is known for that, hops. And now a lot of the vineyards, a lot of the areas that you see now grow vines. And we pay homage to the hops because of our hop kiln that we have straight ahead, the 3 chimneys.
Oh, wow.
That used to actually dry hops that were growing right here in this vineyard. There's only 3 still standing, and we have 1 on our property. And we pay homage to it because our building back here where you were, the tasting room, has cut angles, the architecture. This is to the left here, and to the right over here is our Burgundy block. It's a 2.2 acre block of land, and it goes into the making of our Russian River ranches, our Sonoma Coast, and the Cotrer single vineyard wine that we make. It's a workhorse for us. It was planted in the year 2000. And so it's going on its 17th year of producing beautiful grapes for us, for our wines. It's also a block that has limestone in it. So what happens is we want to create, it's got vigor, we want to create vigor between and competition between the vines in this particular block. So they are planted close together. So it's like having a sister and a brother, you know, a little competition or a little team, and you have to get together and you have to compete. And they're competing for nutrients in the soil at all times down here. We have gone through bud break in March, and so now what you're seeing is really the start of our growing season. We pick starting in, our harvest starts in mid-August through mid-October. I'm going to stop here and I'm going to walk into the vineyard a little bit, and I can show you the growth that's started to happen, the clusters that have started to happen, and the flowering of the vines. Tea system.
What is VSP?
VSP is the way that the vines are trained. And so what we have is a cordon arm, so 2 arms that come out. So I'll show you here first. So what we've done is we've trained these arms. These are cordon arms. Trained these arms to come out here. 2 arms called cordon arms. It's a VSP trellis system. So these vines are already starting to grow. And here you'll see the little clusters, little flowering that's occurring. So these are all babies. Here's another little, this is kind of a nice one too. So they're flowering. Stop. And this is all, once again, Chardonnay that you're seeing throughout. This whole vineyard is all Chardonnay. We have another 5 vineyards. So in total, we have 6 vineyards. Only 2 of our vineyards that we own grow our total Pinot Noir production, and that's Vine Hill and Owsley. And they're about 8 miles in total west of here towards Forestville.
And the soil type here?
Limestone.
Limestone?
Got some limestone in it, so it needs that competition. It needs it's really fighting for nutrients in this soil because it's very chalky, very dry.
And how old are these wines?
This is actually, these grapes were planted, these vineyards were planted in 2000. So they're going on their 17th year.
Oh, wow.
So that's where they're a little craggly, snarly and craggly. I'll show you some as we go along that are brand new, within a year old. And then I'll show you some that were planted in 2013. And I'll also show you another that was planted in the 1990s. I'm going to stop right up here because it's a gorgeous day.
Yeah.
And so straight ahead here, just to orient yourself, you're in the heart of the Russian River Valley here. Straight ahead is Geyser Peak. and that's actually here in Sonoma County, but you're going to be going north, more north. And so that's, Geyser Peak is still in Sonoma County.
Oh, okay.
And then you have, and then straight ahead here, this mountain range. So the first mountain range where it's a little more golden brown, that's the Mayakama mountain range. So if you came from Napa County or Napa Valley, coming over to Sonoma Valley, you're coming over the Mayakama mountain range. So that divides Napa Valley from Sonoma Valley. And then farther out is Zaka, the Zaka mountain range. And then if you come over here, straight ahead over here, the big mountain over here, that's Mount St. Helena. So that is over in Napa Valley. So this is such a nice vista to be able to show you all that. And actually, in a few more months, because the vines grow up so much, you won't even be able to see it if you stand here. What we do here is we also have an owl population, which helps with our rodent population. So I don't know if you can see, you can barely see it through this scrub oak, all this patch of oak trees here. There's a little white owl box straight ahead. I don't know if you can see it. That's one of our owl boxes that we have on the property. So anytime in the morning you may see wild turkey, you can see jackrabbits, and we have had coyote in the morning that we've seen. Coyote help with our deer population. And then certainly the beans and fetch and beans that we do plant bring in healthy insects that don't burrow into the grapes. So it really helps. So we're very, very much, one of those sustainable, very much a sustainable farming kind of vineyard and winery for that. What you're seeing now is the back side of that newly planted